Next, 26. Point at the mulberry tree while cursing the locust tree. To discipline, control, or warn others whose status or position excludes them from direct conversation or confrontation, use analogy and innuendo. When names are not used directly, those accused cannot retaliate without revealing their complicity. Oh, that's sneaky. Mm-hmm. You know, that's like when you're in the meeting and there's the person up the chain of command, they haven't been showing up on time, and you start saying, we got people, Bill hasn't been on time, and you're really talking about them. I have to use this sometimes. Because we go work with companies. And the company, let's say the CEO brings us into the company. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we figure out that the CEO is the one that's the root of the problem. Mm. And one of the reasons that they're the root of the problem is because they don't think they need to change anything. And so they bring us in to change everyone else. Mm. Guess who needs change? The big man. Mm-hmm. The big man, the reason that they don't want to change is because they got the ego that prevents them from listening. So to go in and directly confront them on what they need to change is not going to be effective. Mm. So to go in and I've given a whole presentation. I did this one time where I gave a whole presentation. Maybe I've done it more times, but there's one time that I specifically remember. I gave a whole presentation to, the 15 people, the senior executive leadership of a company. Mm. The entire presentation was directed at one person, the CEO. And it was about ego. It was about, keeping that in check and how you don't know everything and how you got to listen to your subordinates and all those things. He wasn't doing any of those things.
Yeah.
So
isn't there like a basic tactic that I think people do all the time instead of, like I'm the boss and I'm holding a company meeting or whatever. And let's say there's one guy who always shows up late to work. I don't know. And in the meeting, he'll be like, hey guys, we got to show up on time. It's very important. But the use of the word we rather than pointing at one guy, we got to show up on time. We got to do this. It's kind of like the person who he's talking about, kind of like he feels his,
that's a good way to start. Yeah. There's some people that they're not part of that we. And so sometimes you have to escalate that into you.
Yeah, but that defeats the purpose of that.
That does defeat the purpose
stratagem.
Of that. Yeah. You can, if this stratagem doesn't work, you might have to escalate into something a little bit more direct. Break out the battle axe.
Yeah.
That's always the last option, just to make sure. Everyone wants to break out the battle axe. That's what everybody wants to do. Yep.